Good evening, everyone. It's been a while since I've done one of these from the classroom. Just wanted to take a moment. I promised the kids I would create a video with the Chapter 6 review questions. If Mom and Dad are getting a little bored with it, or you just need to break yourself to go to the computer, you can put this video in, and which you probably have already done since you're watching it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to read the questions from Chapter 6. Hit pause after the question. See if you know the answer, and then check it against your notes here, okay? Then I'll just go on. I'm just going to be reading the questions for you. All right? Here we go, because this is all in your notes and hopefully on this page now, because that's all stuff we've covered this chapter. Here we go. Number 1, definition of Plymouth. Plymouth. Is it A, the first English settlement, which today is known as the Lost Colony? B, the settlement that was started in Virginia in hopes of finding gold and other natural resources? C, a definition for or a word that's definition is small communities? Or D, the settlement that was started for religious reasons in present-day Massachusetts? Hit pause. Number 2, settlements. Settlements. Is that A, the first English settlement, which today is known as the Lost Colony? B, a settlement that was started in Virginia in the hopes of finding gold and other natural riches? C, small communities? Or D, the settlement that was started for religious reasons in present-day Massachusetts? And hit pause. Okay, if you're back. Settlements, hopefully, and I don't think I did this for number 1, so I'm going to do it for you now. Plymouth, for number 1, you should have said D, the settlement that was started for religious reasons in present-day Massachusetts. Number 2 was C, small communities. That's the definition of a settlement. Number 3, Jamestown. Was that A, the first English settlement, which today is known as the Lost Colony? B, the settlement that was started in Virginia in the hopes of finding gold and other natural riches? C, small communities? Or D, a settlement that was started for religious reasons in present-day Massachusetts? Which one of those is Jamestown? Okay, hopefully you said that this was letter B. Started in Virginia in hopes of finding gold and other natural riches. Number 4, Roanoke. Was that A, the first English settlement, which today is known as the Lost Colony? B, the settlement that was started in Virginia in hopes of finding gold and other natural riches? C, small communities? Or D, settlement that was started for religious reasons in present-day Massachusetts? Hit pause. Okay, if you're back, hopefully you said that it was A, the first English settlement, which today is known as the Lost Colony. Now, just the facts are questions I asked in order for you to go back into your reading, go back into your notes, to practice that information, writing it down, gathering that information one more time. So for these, again, I'm not giving the answers for these. These are the ones you're supposed to be going back and looking, restudying, okay? But I will read them for you and let you have a chance to go look or see if you answered it correctly and then check it against your notes. And hopefully, because this is supposed to be complete, you can check it against this as well. Remember, this is worth 20 points on Monday for having it complete. We went over it 2 days now in class, so hopefully we're there. First one, why did the first Roanoke settlement fail? So, I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'm going to give you a little help here. Remember, there were 2 times that they tried to settle Roanoke. The first time, they ended up all getting back on the boat and sailing back to England. I want to know why. What went wrong? Okay. You may have to go back to 6.2 to check that one. You may have to reread it. Next one, why did Captain John White return to England? Okay, so this one was on the second voyage now. Second time they're in Roanoke. Why did Captain John White return to England? Okay. Then there was a second question. Why didn't he return right away? And you need to go into more detail than just saying he just didn't return. How long was he gone, and what was the cause that made it so he could not return? Okay, next one. Hopefully you're doing all right. What did the sailors find when they finally returned to Roanoke? So John White's been gone. He left for a reason that hopefully you had right on the last question. Now he's returning to Roanoke. What is it he finds when they finally do return to Roanoke? What does Captain John White and his sailors find? Be specific. You cannot just say everybody was gone. Okay, for example, there was more to it than that. Our next question. What problems did the Jamestown settlers face due to where they built Jamestown? So they landed, they put a fort in. I want to know what kind of natural or human interaction issues they had. What went wrong for them? What kind of problems did they face? Okay. All right. As I read the next one, I don't like how it was worded, but it will work. Find reasons for why the Jamestown settlement was able to survive. We read about and talked about and saw in the movie several ways that allowed the Jamestown settlement to actually survive. There were a couple things that did go their way. I'll give you a hint. You need to use John Smith in this answer, and unfortunately for our health today, smoking is part of the answer here. Which leads to the next question. What product finally made it possible for Jamestown's survival? What was the product? Something they finally figured out, we can make this and we can sell it in England. Because remember we said every settlement had a charter that they had to somehow bring wealth back to the company that was sponsoring them. What did Jamestown finally figure out? Because they didn't find gold. We know they didn't find gold. All right, next question. What did the Virginia citizens form to bring government to their colony? They went almost a decade without a set way of making laws or a way of getting a governor or somebody to help run their colony. It was very a mishmash for 10 years or so. But by 1619, they finally did something. What did they put in place? And it had that kind of hard to pronounce name. Began with a B, hint, hint. Okay. Who could be members of this new government? So they've created this new form of government. Who could be a member of it? It was very specific. And yet with all of that now, our last question dealing with their government, why was this considered more democratic than England? Remember, democratic system meaning the people had more involvement in it. Think about what was life like in England? Who was in charge in England versus how they were setting up their government in the New World? Why would we say that's more democratic? If you were a citizen, what opportunity would you have that you really didn't have in England? Next one. What did the Mayflower Compact do? What was the Mayflower Compact? What was it supposed to accomplish? Okay, you need to be, and remember, it's not the agreement between Massasoit and the Pilgrims once they were on shore. Squanto helped them with that. That was a mutual defense issue. You know, if somebody attacks you, they're really attacking us. That's not the Mayflower Compact. Excuse me, I cannot say that word today. The Mayflower Compact occurs on the Mayflower before they even go on shore. And we really need to have the name William Bradford with that if we're going to talk about it. Because of the Mayflower Compact, he becomes something for the colony. What struggles did the Pilgrims face in their first winter in Plymouth? So what kind of problems did they have? How many survivors were there? What were some of their issues? Did they show up at the right time? Was there a problem with when they showed up in England, New England, excuse me? And then finally here, describe Squanto and his importance to the Plymouth colony. What did he do to help them survive? Why was he important? What was kind of unusual about Squanto? Remember, the Pilgrims thought he was sent from God. And when you look at the absolute chances of what happened, you kind of have to go, it was very rare chance that this could all come together for them as it did. Okay, finally, the last thing I need you to be doing this weekend, make sure you are taking either Jamestown or Plymouth and making yourself an expert on it. You're going to be asked to take things you know about one of those colonies, and you're going to be doing some writing on it. You do need to know where the colony was located. So again, I made the example today. Don't say that Jamestown was on an island off of North Carolina. That was Roanoke. We need to know where Jamestown was located. What specifically were the problems, whichever colony, Plymouth or Jamestown, whichever one you pick, what were problems that it faced in getting started? Why was that colony finally able to succeed? So what made that colony successful? Jamestown versus Plymouth here, okay? Whichever one you chose, make sure you know what it did to succeed. And then what was the reason or goal behind forming that colony? Jamestown's reason for existence is very different than Plymouth's reasons for existence, okay? So you need to make sure you know. Plymouth exists because they were trying to do what? Jamestown exists because the colonists were trying to do what? And they are different reasons. Okay? All right, well, I hope this went well. I'll stop here now and let you get back to your weekend. Hope you enjoy it. Have a good one. Bye-bye.